Hi, today we're going to be looking at a Milwaukee vacuum cleaner. Now it's like a toolbox size thing and it is a model number M18 VC-2. I purchased this off eBay for spares or repair. It's in fairly good condition. We'll open it up, we'll put a battery in and we'll see what it does. Right, just got an M18 battery there. Pop that in and it's fully charged. And it appears to do nothing. And I can't remove the battery now. Right, we shall see how it comes to part. I've noticed there's a little bit corrosion on a couple of the screws already. Like that one for instance. This is supposed to be a wet and dry vacuum cleaner. We shall remove the top section. We'll get that out of the way. Right, so we've got a little bit of debris and sawdust and stuff around the bottom. And I can see some torque screws around the base of it here. Looks like this fill that detaches. And I can start to see a bit of moisture in it already, I guess from the previous owner. Let's see what size Torx this is. Yep, T20. That's all the screws removed, as far as I can tell anyway. So how does it come apart? I think it's going to be easier if I disconnect this switch. We'll get the top part out of the way and then we can have a look at the circuit board here. And they've got these spade connectors that you've got to push the little sort of lever in to release them, like so. Yeah, there's like a little lever thing you've got to press there to be able to release them. Right, let's pop that bit back roughly in situ, and we'll get that bit out of the way. And I'll just remove the switch and then I'll be back. I've removed the switch and I'm just going to remove this part here so it's easier to stand up on the bench. Right. Now, is that the fins for the motor? No. Hold on. I think the motor seized solid by the look of things on this. I've just tried to turn it by hand and it's not doing anything. And I've just noticed as well, I can see a component half hanging off here. I just noticed here there's a component there. I don't know if you can see very good, maybe see better from that angle. There's a component there, and it doesn't appear to be attached. Only appears to be attached on one leg. Right. So, how do we get this section off? Right, I think I'll remove this part and then remove this part as well. We'll just unplug this motor. It's got a ferrite core around there. Just move that cable tight. And remove this cable tie. And it looks like we need to remove this part here. And then we've got another 5 screws around the bottom. Yeah, that is seized solid. So why is that? Looks like I'm going to have to try and remove this fan. Right, so there's a bit of corrosion on this washer here, and I can see a little bit corrosion in this bearing. Looks like the motor's held on with these 2 screws here, so I'll see if I can remove those. And that gives you access to the motor. Now, I wonder if I can get some oil into there, and then if we can free this off. It's got a flat part here on the shaft which we'll maybe use to rotate. So it's either seized with rust or it's melted inside. Right, I'll just get some oil. We'll just give that a moment to seep in. I'll put some on the other bearing as well. Oh, we're getting a little bit of rotation on it. I don't know how good the bearing's going to be on it, like. So I just wonder whether somebody sucked some water up with it and then it's just sat, not being used for a while, and the bearing's rusted up. I mean, I know it says these are wet and dry, but to be quite honest with you, I don't think I'd use it wet. I just don't think they're up to the job. Right, I think I'll connect the bench power supply up and we'll just stick a bit of voltage on that and see if it spins okay. Right, Right, so I've got the bench power supply powered up. I've just got it set to 12 volts. I know it's an 18 volt motor, but I don't want the thing taken off. And I've got the current set to 2 amp. So let's see if it yeah, it doesn't sound very healthy. I think a new motor may be required. I mean, this is only like a light lubricant, this. I could try some heavier oil on it, but it does sound very scratchy. Yeah, still sounds a bit scratchy. I've got some heavier oil. I might try a bit heavier oil on it first. I shall be back. So these are the part numbers that are on the motor. It's a bit hard to see with the light here. But we've got AEM 816143-15, and it says DC 18 volts M212Q1E, and then underneath that it's got DW 32297-B 300 watts. Now, I've done a search on the internet for all of those part numbers and nothing's pretty much coming up. So the motor's actually working, it's just a little bit noisy. So I think we're just going to have to run with this one for now. I mean, the alternative, I could try and take the motor apart and see if we could get replacement bearings for it, but yeah, I'll see how it goes, and whether we actually go down that route or not is another thing. But it actually appears to be running. Like I say, if I put the power supply on it now, it does run. It is slightly noisy. I've put some grease and whatever down there. Melted it slightly with the rework station, so just to try and get it into the bearing. But yeah, like I say, it's a little bit scratchy on start up and stop, but it is actually working. So I think the next protocol is going to be to have a look at this circuit board, see if we can figure out what's going on with that. I've just popped the battery back in. I need to hook up the well, actually before I do that, well, we'll just see if we get any voltage out of it, but I don't think we will, because there's a component lifted off for a start. But we'll just see if we do get any voltage out. And we've got 0.5 of a volt. We've got the same when it's switched off as well. Well, we've got 19 volts to here. It looks like that little fuse or whatever's okay, because we've still got 19 volts on that side of it. I noticed the conformal coating on this component looks a bit blistered, so we'll just check that to see if that component's gone. I can get the battery back out. That's a bit tight, that. Let's go on to diode check. Well, that doesn't look good. I mean, it could be a resistor or something across it, but I've got an okay reading that way. and an okay reading that way, so I don't know. What else have we got here? The capacitor there, see if no shorts on that. I think that should be a resistor there, but we're not getting any no, yes we are. So there's definitely something not causing it not to have power on the output. I'll solder that component on first, and then we'll see if we get any change on the output then. I'll try and tin these pads a little bit first, as with having conformal coating on it. Right, so that's soldered back on. Right. Have we got any output now then? And we do. So I guess what's happened is the motor's jammed or seized up with rust. It's then caused the it's then put too much load on this circuit board here. That resistor has then heated up and then fallen off. Right. Let's just put these on temporarily and we'll just see. Quite lively, that motor. Well, I think the next thing that's pretty much left to do is to reassemble and test. Right, so if that went like that, the wires would have to go that way, so that's pretty much the way the motor went on. Right, where did I put the nut? I've spotted it. Just connect the cables back up. And we'll see what it's like now if we just switch it on with the fan connected. Yeah, it sounds a bit rough on spin down. It actually seems to be on, I Ah yeah, because that'll be the suck there. I was going to say it's actually blown out of here, but I guess that's because it'll be sucking through the chamber and through this port here. I was thinking for a sec there, hold on, is that motor wired up wrong? But no, that's the way it's supposed to be. Right, let's continue with the reassembly then. Right, we'll get the bottom part over then. I'm going to put the wires through the switch hole. Right, we'll get the screws back in now. Right, there's a little ball and the little cage thing to go on it. Right, it's just the filter at the bottom and then the switch. Right, we'll pop the battery in and we'll see what it does. Yeah, it still doesn't sound very good when it's spooling down, but without replacing the motor, or at least replacing the bearings in the motor, there's nothing else we can really do. Well, repairing a Milwaukee M18 VC-2 vacuum cleaner. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, please subscribe. Any comments or questions, please leave it in the comment section below. And as always, have a great day. Thanks for watching.